and Hamas blame each other as ceasefire talks fail again. This is what we know. Ceasefire talks faltering whilst the lives of Palestinians and Israeli hostages in Gaza hang in the balance. A short while ago, Hamas warned that it cannot guarantee any future truces if Israel doesn't agree to work towards a permanent end to the war. In Gaza, church leaders from Jerusalem visited a Catholic church hit by an Israeli strike. Israel blames stray ammunition, saying it deeply regrets the mistake. 3 people were killed. The church leaders brought food aid with them, as well as medical supplies, as Gaza's population faces a deepening humanitarian crisis. The Palestinian Health Ministry says an unprecedented number of starving civilians are now arriving at hospitals, their bodies so weakened by hunger and fatigue that they're at risk of imminent death. The ministry says at least 69 people have already died from malnutrition. The United States is Israel's biggest backer, supplying funds and weapons that fuel the war. But a new CNN poll finds the American public is growing increasingly disillusioned. Just 23% of Americans now say Israeli military actions in Gaza are fully justified. That's a drop from 50% shortly after the October 7th attacks by Hamas in 2023. I'm joined now by our international diplomatic editor, Nick Robertson. I mean, a lot of people watching won't be surprised that when we say ceasefire talks are faltering again, because it doesn't feel as if they ever really got off to a start.
Well, there was a sense created by President Trump right after the strikes on Iran by both Israel and the US that there was a possibility of momentum, and he was talking about it happening soon. But I think at the beginning of this week, most people thought, OK, we're at that, it's run into the sand, run into usual problems. But then a couple of days ago, Israel agreed not to put troops in a key position inside of Gaza, and that got everyone thinking that it could move forward again. But now, as you say there, Hamas is saying unless Israel really talks about a permanent ceasefire, they can't guarantee pauses in the future. Neither can they guarantee to release 10 living hostages as now. And Israel is saying that it's Hamas that's at fault. Hamas is refusing to discuss the key detail that balances the number of Palestinians released for the number of Israeli hostages being released. So both sides are talking about an impasse. President Trump had wanted this to get done, and Prime Minister Netanyahu is under pressure, but it's not moving. That's how it looks right now.
And the way, this attack on the church has gone down horribly, hasn't it, in so many different quarters. And they're saying it was a stray ammunition that did that. Interesting the way the church leaders addressed it effectively by visiting with essential food supplies, medical supplies, really emphasising the issue that they've got in Gaza right now.
And wanting to bring out the injured. But I think, one of the key indicators here that how much pressure Prime Minister Netanyahu is under is that these important people in the church, patriarchs of both the Catholic and the Greek Orthodox Church in Jerusalem were allowed to go to Gaza so quickly. And notable that Prime Minister Netanyahu said that this was, a mistake very quickly and very early. This is a church, by the way, where the parish priest was injured, but this was the parish priest who had that really long and deep and strong connection with the late Pope Francis. Pope Francis used to call the church every day, speak to the priest there about the situation. So no surprise that Prime Minister Netanyahu today ends up getting into a phone conversation with the Pope. That shows you the level of pressure the Pope telling him ease the humanitarian situation on a day where there's been video of people running through markets in Gaza, shutting them down, Palestinians, because prices are too high, malnutrition, rising food prices. It's a desperate situation. So the Pope putting pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu, and one of the results of that pressure is what we saw, these very important church leaders being allowed into Gaza.
Nick Robertson, thank you so much for bringing us that.